Alright, so guys, we're going to talk today about kind of being healthy while we're on the road and talk about some of the challenges that we have with that when it comes to eating, just being physically fit. It's not like we're driving every single day. We're really only driving, once a week, maybe twice a week, depending on our schedule. So it's not like we're truckers where, they've got a different set of challenges that they've got to deal with. But just trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle, even though we go out to eat more often than we used to. It's a little bit of a challenge for us. We're not quite used to that, so we're trying to make sure that we've got everything in balanced, and keep in mind some healthy eating habits, working out habits. So we just want to talk a little bit about what we've learned, some of our struggles, and kind of how that works while we're on the road.
I'm ready.
All right, so let's start out by talking a little bit about food and eating, meal planning, eating out and stuff like that. So how many times a week do you think that we've had to eat out just because we're traveling and we can't actually stop to prepare a meal, things like that? And even during the week when we're stopped somewhere, how many times do you think that we're actually eating out? And I'm not talking, some of it's fast food, some of it's like a sit down restaurant, but between all that, what do you think we're averaging?
I think we're averaging probably 2 to 4 times a week.
Yeah, well, that's definitely more than what we've done in the past, and so yeah, that's a cost. Definitely a cost when it comes to that. So that's been a little tricky. It's one thing because we want to really enjoy the kind of the food and the culture of where whatever area that we're staying at, and so I find it to be okay. I have an okay time with that when we're eating in a restaurant in an area that we're staying, just because we can kind of experience that area's food. That's fine. What I don't like, and I don't think Harvest likes either, is just the kind of the fast food on the go.
Yeah.
We bring snacks with us in the car, which are great, but they only last for so long when we're doing a 6 to 8 hour drive. We've got 3 cars with us, and so packing coolers for 3 different cars it's really difficult. So we do wind up stopping to eat, and we just grab what we need so that we don't faint in the heat, and we just keep going. So that's not been great, but that's okay. That's kind of what we do. But for the most part, we have regular meals 3 times a day, which again is more than what we do, because we don't normally have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all of us together. Maybe on a weekend that would happen. We're getting that pretty much every day now, which is also quite a bit different than what we're used to. But fortunately, Mimi, Harvest Mom, is doing pretty much all the cooking, and so it's been really great to have food on a regular basis. I enjoy that. I don't always eat all of what's there. But it's been really great. I know our kids have enjoyed having 3 regular meals every day, and but then that means shopping as well. So we've had to kind of plan out some shopping. Sometimes it's hey, what do we want for dinner? Let's go grab head to the store, buy ingredients for dinner. That's okay, but we also, because the places we're staying, they have full refrigerators, so we'll get those completely full, completely stocked, and it's usually enough for us to have 3 regular meals for an entire week. So that's been good. What other challenges are we facing with just food in general?
I would say a couple of the things that I've noticed, not only with eating out, but traveling in itself, creates kind of an indigestion issue with a lot of us. Just because you're sitting down in a car, you're in a different environment, the weather's different, and I think that can create just a digestive issue with a lot of us. It's just different for people. I know that a lot of people, when they travel, they get constipated or gassy, and I'm really trying to make sure that we either have enough supplements or people are eating enough fruit. They're not eating a lot of the carby type things that can cause that. And that has been difficult, because when you think, okay, we're going to be in a car for that long, the carbs are what really keep you from starving to death in the car. And then another thing that I've noticed is eating in the South is very different than, or I should say it this way, grocery shopping in the South is very different than grocery shopping in the Northwest. I have noticed the grocery stores are obviously very different. You find that the produce section, the healthier options are so much smaller. It's really, really difficult to go grocery shopping and stay healthy in the South. Just the selection is, I don't know. Your section of, when you go to like the produce section, it's so small. You can't find, you can get bananas and apples, but finding your tropical fruits and things like that, you maybe have 3 or 4. And are they ripe? No, not always. Are they sweet? I'm finding that a lot of those fruits aren't very sweet. We're finding a lot of the foods very difficult. And to be fair, we're not seeking out specialty food stores, which I'm sure we could find. We're just going to a regular grocery store, and that's proving to be very difficult.
When we left Oregon, we brought with us in our trailer 10 gallons, 12 gallons of water. So we're kind of water snobs, because we were on a well in our house in Damascus, and the water was amazing. It tasted so great, and so we decided to go ahead and bring that with us. But it wasn't necessarily because of the taste. It was just for, hey, what if there's an emergency and we're without water for a while? You always think worst case scenario. What if we get stuck in the middle of nowhere? Car breaks down. We're there for days on end. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? So I'm like, okay, let's be prepared and bring water. Well, it's been interesting, because a lot of the places we've stayed at, water is awful. You get the tap water, and it's just not. It's not what we're used to. And even water.
Not drinkable.
Yeah, you can drink it, but you're like drinking pool water is what it tastes like sometimes. Yep. And so even the water from the fridge, just so, even if it's got a water filter. So we found ourselves actually drinking a lot of the water that we brought with us, which has been great. I'm really glad that we brought that. There have been a couple places where we've been able to fill the jugs back up with decent water.
Yeah.
And one of them was, our last stop was in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and we actually got to fill water up with some of the natural Hot Springs water. And but it was hot. It was hot water out of these Hot Springs taps, and so we had to let it cool down and stuff. But that was very, very good. So we're just looking for opportunities like that we didn't think of before when it comes to water. But it's important to keep drinking. I love drinking coffee, and so it's been difficult for me, especially during driving. I drink my cup of coffee that I get in the morning, and then I try to drink water the rest of the trip, because it's so easy to get dehydrated. You're just sitting driving in the heat.
Yeah. Well, and making things like coffee, tea, etc., which we would normally do in the morning time, you're having to use your bottled water, because their tap water is terrible, and it totally changes the taste of your coffee and your tea. Or boiling noodles even, or something like that. If you have something that you're trying to make with the water, you've got to make sure it's the water that you either purchased or were able to get from a good source. And we've only found that a couple of the places that we've stayed at had drinkable water just from the tap. But even in Hot Springs, the tap water, it was not good. We had 3 kids with stomach aches from the tap water in the sink. So we went and filled it up. They have a little station where you can get actual Hot Springs water. And like Kirk said, it was hot. But it tastes considerably better, and but you can taste the minerals in it. So it's very, very interesting water. It's not like what we are used to.
So in the next few places that we're visiting, there's definitely going to be some amazing food that we want to try. So, we're headed towards New Orleans today, and so there's obviously going to be some Cajun fare that we'll want to dive into. So I think we may tip the eating out average.
I think so, yeah.
Which is okay. I don't know how much chance we're going to have like real Cajun food while you're in Louisiana. I mean, you just don't get that every day. So
you gotta try gumbo at least once.
Oh yeah, we're gonna definitely try some good food. So that's gonna be okay. I don't know how much shopping we're gonna wind up doing, but I know the kids have enjoyed having regular meals, but still, it's still difficult to get them to eat, especially Adrian. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but it's always
Alex too. They're healthy. They're pickier.
Yeah, it's always been difficult to get them to eat, and then we've got Grandma fixing a breakfast, and when they don't eat Grandma's breakfast, there's hell to pay sometimes. So that's a little bit different dynamic than what we've experienced. So, yeah. But that's short term. They're at least they're not starving, and they're getting fed. And so overall, the food has not been that big a deal. It's actually worked out really, really well. And we're very, very grateful that Harper's mom has been doing the cooking. It's been super nice.
Yeah.
So maybe we should talk about other health things like working out, just staying fit and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we're not like truckers driving all the time. There is some sedentary downtime, but then we're out either visiting different sites, so there's plenty of activity, but it's one of those things where you get in your mind, hey, we're kind of in quasi-vacation mode. It's a little bit harder to maintain any healthy, lifestyle practices like working out, being fit, jogging, being on a treadmill. We don't have a treadmill, and we don't have a hill that we used to live on where you can walk up the hill and get a good workout if you wanted to. So we're having to be a little bit creative when it comes to being healthy and staying fit. And so I guess we could talk about some of the things that we're doing, and some of the things that have been helping us just stay fit and healthy.
Yeah, totally.
So when we were in Sandy, I happened to notice this book in the house that we were staying at, and I forget the author's name, but it was called Atomic Habits. And I wound up getting the Audible ebook so I could listen to it. And I haven't finished it yet, but I've gleaned some pretty interesting things regarding habits. And for me, a habit that I've always wanted to have, it's always been kind of inconsistent, up and down, hit or miss. It's just been working out. I like to look good. I like to feel good. I want to be, strong and healthy for my family, not just now, but in the future. I'm sneaking up on 50 years old, believe it or not. I know.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. My birthday's in November if you're, looking for something somebody to buy presents for. So I just want to make sure as I'm heading into, a little bit older years that I'm being as fit as possible. And the older that you get, the harder it is to reestablish a habit or get back into a pattern. But I've learned some things that have definitely helped with that. And one of the techniques that this guy talks about is called habit stacking. And for me in the past, creating a new habit to do anything like working out has been, exciting at first because, I can work out. I'm all excited. I'm all hyped up and all psyched, to get fit and looking good and stuff. And then, you hit the wall and you realize, oh gosh, this is now just drudgery again. And that's because I've had to carve out time that wasn't there before, that I was doing something else to do something that is ultimately really difficult to do. And so this concept that I learned is called habit stacking. And so what you do is you basically piggyback off an existing habit. Well, what that required me to do is to take a look. Okay, what habits do I have now? And I could probably count my habits on 5, fingers, one hand. Brush my teeth. Get up, get breakfast. Get my coffee. They were pretty basic habits. They weren't anything glamorous like, I go on a walk every day, and I, tell Harvest I love her, at 5 o'clock every night. I mean, there were only so many habits, and they were basically just life habits that I would do. And so, I didn't think there was anything spectacular to piggyback off of, but then I realized those habits don't necessarily have to be the things I'm all proud and excited about. All they are triggers. And so the habit stacking concept is you choose a trigger that you do every day, whether it's brushing your teeth or something that's just automatic, you're not really thinking about it, you got to do it anyways. And then whatever thing that you want to do in establishing a new habit, you do it right after that. And so for me, I wanted to work out every day, but carving out 45 minutes to an hour of time that I'd rather be spending with the family or something like that, it's fun at first, but it gets to be drudgery. And so what I figured I'd do is break it up into 2 times per day to work out. I never thought I'd be able to work out every day. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like a 2 to 3 times a week type of workout, and that's about it. I never thought I could do it every day, but because of this concept, what I've decided to do is one of my habits is I'm working anyways. I'm working during the day. I've got to clock out for lunch. I still punch a digital clock thing. So I clock out for lunch. Boom. I pick up weights and I lift for 15 minutes. And before that, I'll grab a protein shake before that, maybe half an hour before that. And then I'll take another 15 minutes and do a light lunch. That's all I need. And my first workout is done in my lunch hour, essentially. And so without hardly even thinking, I'm clocking out now. And because I've already, kind of written a little statement, hey, when I clock out for lunch every day, I'm going to work out for 15 minutes. And that's really all it's taken. And I've done that. This is my 4th week now. 4 times a day I've done that. And it's not been drudgery.
4 times a day or 4 times a week?
Sorry, 4 times a week, twice a day. The second time is when I clock out for work. So when work is done at the end of the day, I get off at 3:30. So done at 3:30, clock out, pick up the weights again, another 15 minutes, different types of workouts. So I'm doing it twice a day, 4 times a week. And it's no sweat. It's not a big deal. I still have the rest of my day to myself. It's not like, I'm having to go to the gym. I can't go to the gym anyways because we're driving everywhere. So that's been pretty amazing. That's the longest streak I've ever had of consistent workouts. I've worked out for months on end, but not like this. This has been pretty consistent, and it's been easy. So I'm really hoping to keep that going and continue on by the time I reach 50. I don't have any delusions of grandeur looking like Arnold or anything, but I'm hoping to feel pretty good and continue that as a lifestyle because I'm now seeing myself as not an athlete, but someone who works out. That's just been more of my identity rather than results based. Hey, I want to be this big, gain this much weight, look like this. Those are more results based. And results based are tricky because when you don't get the results right away, it gets really discouraging. And so rather than having a results-based habit, I've had an identity-based habit where my identity is I'm identifying as a healthy person. I'm identifying as somebody who can work out every day and enjoys it. And I am more of an athlete type of person. And again, I'm not, some specific athlete. I'm just saying the mentality of that. What would an athlete do? What would somebody who's healthy all the time do? So it's more of an identity thing. It's much easier to keep habits when you've got that concept versus results-based, because results are fleeting and they're finicky and you don't see them for a while, especially when you're talking about working out. there's no quick fix. Sorry, it just doesn't happen. It's not a quick journey. So, anyways, those are just some quick things that I've been doing, and I found them very, very helpful. So, honey, what about you? Do you have any habits that you feel have been really beneficial? Any tips or tricks that have found that just kind of make things a little smoother for you?
Well, actually, I've had kind of more of a discouraging road, and so I'll just, full disclosure, all honesty, the older I've gotten, the harder it has been for me to work out and just see my muscles can, remain toned. It just doesn't work as well as they used to, and all that stuff. So, sorry, it's bumpy. I've had a hard time with things like my core and keeping it toned. Now, granted, I've had 6 babies, and I have some ab separation, and that's been really hard for me because the way you tone that up are very, very small, tiny movements, and that doesn't make any sense to me in my brain. Now, I've been doing those small, tiny movements and haven't seen much improvement. So, about 2.5 weeks ago, I started a pretty strenuous ab workout that I was able to do. It took me a few days to kind of get there so that I could do the full workout, and I was so proud of myself because I was doing it. And then about 4-ish days ago, I was doing my workout and I felt a tear or something that didn't feel quite right. And so I did a little more than half of the workout that I do, and I stopped. So I did really good about listening to my body. I think I did like 2 or 3 more and realized, this is probably not a good idea. So I did something else. The next day I went back and I started to do my workout again, and I did one, and the tear it kind of took my breath away and made me feel like I was going to throw up. So I stopped. I didn't do it anymore. And since then, I've had pain doing anything with my abs. So it's gotten a little bit better with time, but I haven't been able to work out since then. And that's been really, really super discouraging. So I've shifted my focus. So instead of working out my abs, I've done my legs and my arms, and I've been able to do that, which is fine. But mentally, being so discouraging that I've had to shift my focus and say, you know what, it's fine. I have to listen to my body, and I have to be okay with doing something different. And so for me, I just had to change my mind. That's been really difficult for me. Just in all honesty, I've kind of been in a more discouragement place, and realizing that I can't get the results I like. If I were able to do all 4 days, what would I look like now compared to what how strong would I have been now? And so I just have to kind of get that out of my mind and know that right now, I just get to focus on something else. And then when we get to our forever home, and I still have maybe this pain, if that's the case, then I'll probably need to go see a doctor and see what's happened and how I can fix it. Maybe that way.
One thing that we have been able to do is work out together a little bit more, which has been pretty cool. We'll take, maybe not every day, but we've been taking some more time to work out together, which has been fun.
It has been fun, actually.
Yeah, I'm able to help harvest with some lifting techniques, and we use. I've got some dumbbells, but then we also have some of those stretchy bands.
Yeah, TheraBands.
TheraBands, things like that we're able to use. So they're low impact, and it's super portable, so you can use them anywhere. But there are lots of great nice minimal core, so you can still get some results. And yeah, so it's been fun. It's been fun working out and kind of doing stuff like that together. So it's been a new little experience that we really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. Well, like after 20 years of marriage, we finally doing workouts together. Those resistance bands have been really nice for me. I've used them off and on before, but they've been really nice to be able to, we throw them in a bag and then we just take them with us. And that's been awesome. It takes up very little room. Kirk's 30-pound weights, they take up more room, but he's still able to pack them. I can barely lift them. But maybe after all my strength training in my arms and stuff, I'll be able to lift them better. But yeah, we're on that journey, so you're going with us. If you have any exercise tips or anything that uses minimal core at this moment, hopefully I'll be able to get back into my core workouts soon. But if you've got any tips or tricks or anything, let us know, because I'd like to know what more I could be doing. I'd like to mix it up a little bit with different workouts and things like that. And of course, if we have a chance to walk, we walk. I've done a couple of jogs around. It's really hard in the humidity to jog outside because you feel like you're breathing underwater, and I don't suggest it. But we've been staying active. And so the first part of our journey, we were able to go on a lot of hikes and things, because a lot of the national parks were lots of hiking. And then through the cities, if we've got a big city, I love walking, parking the car and then walking the streets, even in the humidity. I don't mind that at all. So we've been able to maintain a lot of those kinds of healthy, we're not doing a lot of sitting around. We're certainly not sitting around playing video games or watching TV or anything like that. Sedentary is right here in the car. This is our sedentary time. We've been really active otherwise. So it's just really strength training. I want to get my back a little bit stronger. I want to get my core a little bit stronger. Those are my goals.
So thanks everyone for joining us today for this segment of On the Road with Kirk and Harvest. I hope you enjoyed following us in our journey as we talked today about food and health and working out and all that good stuff. So hope you learned a little bit. If you have any comments, we'd love to hear from you. Questions, let us know. We'll do our best to kind of get back to you. And so next week we are going to be talking about how this trip has impacted our relationship. It's been good. So just a little sneak preview there. So just kind of relationally, what it's been like for Harvest and I. And so I know you're going to enjoy that segment. Like this video, share it, hit the bell, subscribe. Make sure you're telling other people about our little journey. We'd love to have as many of you along as absolutely possible. So God bless, and have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.